Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to another random review. Today's random review is from 1969, and it's Double Suicide by Masahiro Shinoda. This is Criterion DVD, because this is another wonderful Japanese film that I don't believe is available on Blu-ray, but it really should be. I have a bunch of Shinoda films, and again they're all kind of a little bit different. We've got Under the Blossoming Cherry Trees with Tomonosuke Wakayama, Samurai Spy with Tetsuro Tamba, which I need to rewatch, Demon Pond, which I did a random review of, which was remade by Takashi Miike, Pale Flower, Criterion Blu-ray, which is probably arguably his most famous film, a Yakuza drama, and I've done a random review of this film. I think this is his best that I've seen so far. Assassination, again with Tetsuro Tama. This is absolutely gorgeous, and again really should have a Blu-ray. So Double Suicide, there's no extras on the Criterion, but don't let that put you off. This is a fascinating film. Now, I will address the kind of the thing about it that I'm not that interested in is the actual story. It's a story about a merchant who falls for a courtesan and wants to get the money to free her and marry her, even though he's married with kids. And obviously the pressures from his parents, his wife's parents, his wife. So all that kind of thing, it's not really that interesting to me, but it's the way that Shinoda chooses to tell the story is absolutely fascinating and fairly unique. So it's based on a play, a Banraku or Bunraku puppet play, music by Toru Takemitsu, but it's a puppet play. So the start of the film, you have the behind the scenes of a puppet show, the puppeteers in all black with kind of mesh face pieces, prepping for a production of this play. There's one of the puppeteers on the phone to I don't know whether it's their manager, talking about how they're going to present this play and the story, and then all of a sudden it cuts to real people, as in the characters of the play, but Shinoda still has the puppeteers as part of the play. So the sets, there's exteriors, but the sets are really artificial, really theatrical. But the thing of having the actual puppeteers in the human play is a really fascinating and interesting way of telling it. So the puppeteers will point characters in the direction they're supposed to go. The puppeteers will give the characters objects. They'll take part in the action. Sometimes when a scene is over, the black clad puppeteers will come on, take away furniture, replace furniture. So it really has this sort of fatalistic presentation of it. I mean, obviously the title gives it away that we're leading to a bad end for two of the characters. But again, it has this fatalistic way of, we are just players on a stage, and no matter what we do, if you believe in predestination, if you believe in fate, if you believe there's powers that are controlling what we say and what we do, then again, the way Shinoda presents this is really interesting, especially in the latter part of the film where they're helping certain characters do certain acts. The acting is perfectly fine, so they're not acting in a as puppets or anything like that. It's a perfectly natural way they act, but it's just the idea of taking a puppet show, making it with actors, like human actors, not puppet actors, but keeping the puppeteers as guides. I mean, at times the puppeteers narrate to camera or off camera things, and again, just that aspect of the puppeteers will actually interfere, if you like, with characters, helping them with objects. It really adds another layer. So I don't know whether, because there's like no commentary or whatever, I don't know whether Shinoda kind of decided to do this because he knew himself that the story wasn't, the story's not that interesting really, but it's the way it's told, and as with as with Assassination, the black and white cinematography is just absolutely beautiful. It's one of the best looking black and white films you'll ever see. It's almost right up there with the Kalatazov black and white films. I mean, yes, it's just a DVD, but as with Criterion, the transfer on the DVD is really good. Obviously a Blu-ray would be even better. I mean, at 104 minutes, I will say it's probably a bit too long. I think probably lopping 10 minutes off it would have helped it. So again, as I said, it's a film that's probably a little bit too long. It's a film that story-wise isn't really that interesting. But again, obviously you might find it fascinating, but the whole a married man with kids falling for a courtesan, it's like, if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. But obviously the way it ends pleases me greatly, and the way that the endings are shot and set up, again with the participation of the puppeteers, is just phenomenal. It's just such a unique way of telling a story. It is really surprising. Yes, the nod to the theatrical by having these sets. Some of the sets, the floors are like covered in painted words. It's just so unique, and as cinema is a visual art form, strangely enough, you really can't take your eyes off it, even if you're like me. The story's not really that fascinating, but you still can't actually take your eyes off the screen, because Shinoda's compositions, again, the use of art, the art style, the production design, and then when he does go to exteriors near the end of the film, the exteriors are just phenomenal. There's some great graveyard scenes, and again, there's so many Japanese films with great scenes in long grass, but this film has another great scene in long grass, which is just phenomenal. So I mean, for me, it's maybe a notch down from Assassination, because Assassination, as I said, is a complete and total masterpiece for me, and just visually ravishing, and it's black and white. So certainly visually, double Suicide, which you're not allowed to say apparently on YouTube, visually is just as good. It's just that the story of isn't perhaps as interesting, for me at least, as some of his other films. But man, visually, and again, just that extra layer of having the puppeteers be involved with the human actors, just gives it an extra layer of fatalism and fate and being guided by some other hand, and no matter what you do, things are going to work out the way hidden powers decide and not necessarily the way you decide. It's just a film that really deserves, if films deserve a Blu-ray, and certainly more people to see the film, because it is a stunning film, even though it's not a perfect film, but it's another fascinating Shinoda film who made all kinds of different pieces. So please let me know if you've seen Double Self-Harm, and what you think of it, and hopefully you'll join me again for more random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.